James from Sky.
Jarrod, hi. To what extent has that win over United lifted morale and perhaps even lifted the weight from your shoulders?
No, yeah, it was massive, especially coming into the semi-final. I think back to the Ghent game that we had. We had the Arsenal on the Sunday before, which gave us a lot of confidence coming into it. So Sunday's result was obviously massive for the whole club, and coming into this game tonight, it's given us tomorrow night, it's given us a lot of confidence.
And to what extent, as well, can you use last year in Frankfurt, that defeat, that hurt, as motivation this time over these 2
Yeah,
years?
of course. We want to go 2 steps further. But we know the task at hand. It's going to be a difficult fixture. You don't get into a semi-final from being a bad team. So we know we're going to be in for a tough game over the 2 legs. But we feel ready, and we feel like we're full of confidence going into the game.
And are you aware what it would mean to the club and the fans to, I know it's a few steps away, but to win that first major title in 40 odd years? Yeah,
no, it'd be massive for everyone associated, and that's our aim, that's our ambition. But like you said, there's still a long way to go for it. There's 2 legs that we've got to get through, but of course we want to win the competition.
Gentlemen, back there.
I'm from the Netherlands. Hello. The sense of relief that must be in the club after Sunday, is it going to help you tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I think we can use it as a kind of springboard to help us tomorrow night. But we know it's going to be a difficult game. They're a really good side, and it's a European semi-final. So we know it's going to be a difficult game. We're at home first, so we can use that to our advantage with our fans and the atmosphere that I know that they're going to create.
After the draw, what did you know of AZ and what do you know now?
Listen, I'm not going to lie, so I know everything about them. But we've done our prep. We've watched them. We've seen what they're good at. We've seen what we can potentially exploit in their game. And like I said, they're in the semi-final. They've beaten some big clubs to get here. And we know it's going to be a difficult game because you don't get handed a semi-final spot.
Hi, Jarrod. This time last year, going into the Frankfurt game, that kind of occasion was quite new for you personally. It's been a long time for the club as well. I just wonder how you feel going into this semi-final. Do you feel like you've learnt from last year's?
Yeah, I think we can learn, but it's also exciting at the same time as well. I still think that level of excitement is still there. You're in a European semi-final and you're so close to achieving something that you want to achieve for the whole club. So yes, we can learn a lot from, I think, not just the Frankfurt game, all the knockout games that we had, and I think we've done really well in the knockout games that we've had this year to get to the stage that we're at now. And starting tomorrow night, it's about doing exactly the same things.
Can you use that specifically? I mean, last year a lot of it was the novelty factor for West Ham. It feels like it's flipped quite quickly to now you're the side who've got recent experience of an occasion like this.
Yeah, no, I think we can use it in our, I don't want to say advantage, but we've been here last year, but obviously this year we want to go 1 step further and not lose in the semi-final. I think that's the main aim.
Hi, Jarrod, at the back here. We spoke at the start of the season about your inspirations and what sort of players you can model your game on. You said about Mo Salah. I was just wondering, is it changed? Is there any different players you've sort of seen this season or across the top 5 leagues in Europe?
I still think Salah, I seen the other day he scored 30 goals and people are saying he's having a bad season. So I think for the numbers that he produced consistently since he's been in the Premier League, he's still up there. But I also think obviously Bukayo was as well at Arsenal. I had the honour to play with him at England as well and saw how good he was. And this season he's been phenomenal. So I think for those 2 are the ones for me. With the numbers that they produce and the quality that they play at.
And I spoke to the manager a few weeks ago and he said that this competition's really kept heads above the water. Would you agree with that as a player? The mood has been significantly better despite where you have been in the league this season? Yeah,
listen, I think even last couple of years when we've been doing well and even when we lost the game, spirits were still high, and I still think we've kept that same kind of belief in the changing room. Of course it hurts this season what's happened. We haven't enjoyed it, but we've used that character that we've got in the dressing room to get us out of the position that we needed to get out of, and like you said, in Europe as well, we've used that and done really well in that, and we're in another semi-final. So yeah, it's been a difficult season, but tomorrow we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Just one more, if I can ask. Are you quite hard on yourself as a player? Because I know you've had a fantastic season, especially last year. Coming into this season, it's been quite up and down with the team itself. But are you a player that's quite hard on yourself, maybe overcritical at times?
Yeah, I think, and I've always been that way. I'll always be hard on myself before I'm praising myself. But yeah, for me, it's not been the season that I've wanted, if I'm honest. But you know, we're in that situation that we're in. It's not one of those to sulk about, to be down about, because you've got to give your all for this club, and that's what I try and do every single week. And I always know that goals, assists, those things will come with my game, and it's about playing my game that I know I can play it. And the first half of the season, I wasn't happy with my performances, and I think I've been quite open and honest about that. But I think second half of the season, I feel like I've been back to a level where I'm happy with. So yeah, now for me to the end of the season, it's trying to get this club into the final and obviously staying in the Premier League.
Good luck tomorrow.
Kieran?
You're surrounded by West Ham fans, not least your father-in-law. So do you get that special insight into how much the fans want this first European trophy since 1965, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's massive. And listen, I've only been here 3 years, but I feel a massive part of this club as well, and a fan almost as well. So I know how much it means for the fans, and I'm one of them that want to give them that success. So yeah, the Mrs. Old Man is obviously for me every week. But no, I think for everyone, the whole club, like I said, it's not been a great season, but I think staying in the Premier League is the main aim, and bringing the trophy home for the fans would be a good end to a bad season, I'd say.
Do you feel that pressure, or do you still think back to like your Hereford days, your whole days? This is exactly where you want to be now. This is why you became a footballer.
Yeah, I think I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. Of course I'll be critical, like I just said, on myself, but I won't let it affect me too much. I'll try and just keep playing my game, and like you said, I'm just a boy with a dream that I'm still living that dream. So, sometimes I take a look back and think where I am, but I always demand more of myself without doing it in a way where I put too much pressure on myself.
Mike?
Jarrod, during the difficult results in the Premier League season, the manager has been very much the lightning rod for a lot of the criticism. As players, do you almost feel like you owe him and the club this extended run in Europe, almost to make up for the heavy going in the Premier League? Yeah,
it's been a difficult season. There's no denying that, and the manager's the one that faces the press after every game, so he's the one that's got to speak. But we know as players that we haven't been at a level and the standards that we set over the last, since I've been here, 2-3 years. So it's been really disappointing. But like I said, I think the main thing was, when we come back from the World Cup, was to get ourselves out of the position that we was in. And we're nearly there with that. There's still, we're not safe yet, but there's still a lot of football to be played in that. So I think that's the main aim for the club. And then obviously getting to a European final for one is another aim of the club. And don't want to talk too much about a final, because I don't want to seem like I'm disrespecting the opposition, because I know they're a top side. But we can all dream of winning a trophy. I think no one would frown at us for dreaming of winning a trophy.
You said earlier on that you didn't play as well as you would have liked in the first half of the season. After missing out on the World Cup, do you look back and think, well, you've only got yourself to blame because you didn't play well when the manager was looking who to pick? Yeah. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I wasn't good enough. So, like I said, I've accepted that, and I think that conversation's gone now, because it was so long ago that I've forgot about it. And just like I said, since the World Cup, I just wanted to come back and just play free and give it back to the club for, because I didn't play well in the first half of the season and we was in a bad position. So I think the main thing for me was playing my game and getting the club out of the position that we found ourselves in. So I think those are the main aims, and the disappointment of the World Cup is obviously gone now, because it's a long time ago, and now I'm focused on this European tie and staying in the Premier League.
Any more for Shane? Jordan. Start with Jordan.
Hi, Jarrod. What's changed? What's been the main thing that's changed between last year being in the semi-final and this year, and what makes you think that now you can go on and make that next step?
I don't know what's changed massively. I know the semi-final we had last year, we had a man sent off quite early on, which kind of really knock the stuffing out of us. So maybe not get a man sent off straight away in the second leg. But no, I think we can learn from it for sure. But I think we can take confidence from our run in Europe as well. You know, the group stage we've been really strong, and obviously the knockouts we've done well with the results there. So I think it just comes from confidence as well. And you know, I said that we can use the weekend as a springboard for that, and I think that helps with going into tomorrow's game.
And you said you almost feel like a fan. Does that bring an added pressure that you don't want to let people down around you, don't want to let yourself down, knowing that you love the club so much?
No, I wouldn't say it's pressure. It's more excitement to do it for the fans. You know, I want to do it. I want to score. If I could score the winning goal, then I'd be more than happy. You know, I wouldn't say I feel pressure for letting them down, because I don't think like that. I think how happy I can make the fans if we got to the final.
Jarrod, I remember in the first leg against Frankfurt, you had that overhead kick which hit the crossbar. Do you sometimes think, you know, what if?
Yeah, I think there's always what ifs in football, and yeah, that one would have been. I think it was quite late. I think it was like the last kick of the game that we could have gone 2-2 away from home, but it didn't go in. So that was obviously a massive what if. But like I said, I think our run last year, probably no one expected us to get to where we got to, and we just kind of kept going about our business quietly. And I think it's been the same this year, and you know, it'll be a difficult game. Lots to learn from like I said, last year's run, but a lot of confidence going into the game to get to the final.
We spoke to Valerian before the game against Ghent. He said that loss against Frankfurt is something he still thinks about. So for you personally, how long will it take for you to go over that loss? Yeah, no, it was disappointing because you know you're so close to for one to get into a final. I think for any player you want to get to a final for one, and then obviously you want to win the final. But I think the main thing is getting to the final. So yeah, it hurt. If I remember rightly, it was quite a hectic schedule. We played quite early after that, so it was probably not till the off season that it fully sinks in. Because you know last year we were going for top 6, so we were disappointed with going out. It hurt a lot, but you know we was already preparing for the next Premier League game. So I think it was more probably the off season that it actually sunk in, and it hurt a lot. So you know I think we can learn a lot from that hurting kind of phase that we went through, and turn that into joy tomorrow night and next week. And last from me, Jarrod, we spoke to you a few months ago, and I remember you saying at the start of the season there were times where you weren't playing like your old self, you're overcomplicating things. So what's changed between now and then? I think I've just gone back to basics and simplified my game and know what I can do, and playing without a fear factor, so to speak. And I think that's when I play at my best football, and I feel like that I've been doing that, which I wasn't doing at the first half of the season.
Okay, everyone. Great, we'll leave it there. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. See you later.
Manager will be a couple of minutes.